Hey guys, it's me, Jack, and I'm back with another review. Well, it's that month again. The month of ghosts and goblins. So, what Halloween classic am I going to be talking about? Batman Forever, naturally. Yeah, it's got Halloween in it. It counts. Batman Forever is a very interesting movie. For years, I dismissed Batman Forever as being only slightly less awful than its infamous sequel, Batman and Robin. But upon rewatching it a few years ago, I found that the film had a lot of merit to it. So today I'm here to ask the question, is Batman Forever actually a good movie? Well, let's find out. In this film, Batman is going up against two villains. Two-Face, the former district attorney turned criminal, and the Riddler, a man with a dastardly invention known as the Box. Val Kilmer plays Batman in this movie, and this is his only movie doing so. Ignoring the reasons why, he does a pretty decent job. He's certainly one of the less talked about Batmans. He's not great like Michael Keaton, Kevin Conroy, or Robert Pattinson. And he's not bad like George Clooney. He's good. He gets the job done. As Batman, he is commanding, while having a bit more humor to him than other versions. Yes, one of the most criticized aspects of this movie and Batman and Robin is the cheesy dialogue. And yeah, I can certainly understand why. But regardless, Kilmer still commits to the role. He plays Bruce Wayne as more cold and distant, which makes sense considering that Batman is basically his life. The film goes a bit into Batman's origin. We see a flashback of young Bruce Wayne at his parents' funeral. He becomes overcome with rage. He falls down into a cave, and there he finds a bat. And while he's at first afraid of it, he soon comes to the realization that he could use this symbol to strike fear into the hearts of people like the man who killed his parents. This short little scene is a wonderful little origin story for Batman, and I really don't think it gets enough credit. The film talks about the identity of our main character. Is he Batman? Is he Bruce Wayne? Or is he both? In the climax of the movie, we get our answer. The Riddler challenges Batman by putting both Bruce Wayne's girlfriend and Batman's sidekick in danger. The one that he chooses to save will show who he really is. And who does he save? Both of them. It's similar to the scene in the first Spider-Man movie, where the Green Goblin has Spider-Man make the decision of saving either the children or Mary Jane. But in that movie, there was no real thematic purpose to that scene. In this film, there is. It shows that, as Batman says to the Riddler, he is both Bruce Wayne and Batman. Not because he has to be, but because he chooses to be. Wait, why do people dislike this movie again? Oh, right. Okay, let's talk about Two-Face. Tommy Lee Jones is a good actor. And honestly, he could have been great in this role. But the way Two-Face is written, as well as the direction and his performance, is just bad. The makeup on this guy is ridiculous. And his performance is just so incredibly goofy. Tommy Lee Jones is just not good at doing this kind of over-the-top acting. Besides that, though, the character is just not very interesting. We never get to see him before he becomes Two-Face, outside of a brief video showing a bit of his origin. We should have spent time with him before he went crazy. He and Bruce Wayne were apparently good friends, but we never see that. We're just told it. They constantly beat you over the head with the fact that his character has two personalities. Not by having him go back and forth between his two personalities like Gollum or something. No, that would actually be interesting. Instead, we get shit like this. He has a secret lair that's nice on one side and nasty on the other. He has two girlfriends with different looks and personalities. Two different cigarettes. He has two drinks at the same time. It's just too much. However, I don't feel this way about the other villain of the movie, the Riddler, or Edward Nygma. I really like this guy. His character is actually pretty interesting. He's a crazy, obsessive fan of Bruce Wayne. And when I say that he loves Bruce Wayne, I really mean he loves him. Like, it genuinely seems like he wants to marry him. But it all changes when he explains his invention to Bruce, and Bruce rejects it, and his world is completely crushed. He then teams up with Two-Face so he can create more of his boxes, and sell them to people all around the city. And despite his hatred for Bruce Wayne, he still is very much trying to be like him. He dresses like him, and when he meets with Bruce Wayne again, he sees that Bruce is wearing glasses, and so he puts on glasses as well. Then when Bruce takes his glasses off, so does Edward. It's interesting because in this scene, Edward is talking about how his company is doing better than Bruce's company. He even asks Bruce's girlfriend, Chase, to dance, just showing even more how much he wants to be Bruce. But at the end of the movie, he realizes that Bruce is really Batman, and he completely loses his mind. And once he's imprisoned in Arkham Asylum, he convinces himself that he is Batman. He's a man with no real identity, a man always trying to be someone else. His character also shows how the big corporations often tend to not pay their employees much. Despite the fact that he works for Wayne Enterprises, he can't afford a decent apartment. It's all so tight and narrow. And then you have Jim Carrey, who absolutely steals this movie. If you're not a fan of Jim Carrey, then you certainly won't like him in this movie. It's more or less just him playing himself. But I like Jim Carrey, and so I really enjoy watching him. His timing, his facial expressions, the voices he makes. I think Jim Carrey is often at his best when he's playing a comedic villain, like in The Cable Guy or the Sonic movies. There's the character of Dick Grayson, or Robin, played by Chris O'Donnell. And while I don't like the character of Two-Face, I do like what he does for Robin's character. Robin's family are killed by Two-Face, and his only objective is to get revenge. Bruce Wayne tells him that revenge won't solve anything, and he knows from experience. When he killed the Joker, the man who killed his parents, he thought it would make things better, but it just made things worse. Once he has his revenge, he'll just keep looking for more people to kill. More people to fill that void. Until eventually revenge becomes his life. When Robin eventually confronts Two-Face, he realizes that he can't do it. He can't kill him. And then we get to a very controversial moment. Two-Face has Batman and Robin at gunpoint, and Batman reminds him that he has to flip his coin first. But when Two-Face does it, Batman throws a bunch of other coins into the air, causing Two-Face to fall to his death trying to grab his coin. This moment has pissed a lot of people off, as it seems out of character for Batman. And truth be told, it bothered me for a long time too, but I've sort of warmed up to it. Batman kills Two-Face so that Robin doesn't have to. He realizes that he can never go back after avenging the death of his parents. There is no chance for him, but Robin still has a chance. He can't let Robin become like him. The character of Chase Meridian is not a particularly strong love interest. Also, here's a big shock, a lot of her dialogue is pretty cringe. Michael Gough reprises his role as Alfred, and he is always wonderful. I love the way he serves as a father figure to not just Bruce, but also Dick as well. How's the action in this movie? Well, pretty fun. While I'm not a fan of the movie's silly dialogue, I do think that the action scenes are just the right amount of silly. The opening is a perfect example. Two-Face traps Batman and a security guard inside of a safe, and then carries it over the city in a helicopter. And he starts filling up the safe with acid. I also have to say, I love the security guard character in this scene. He is such a wiener, and he's just hilarious. The same goes for the chase scene with the Batmobile. I love the part where it drives up the wall, escaping from the explosions caused from the cars blowing up down below. You also have the climax of the film, where the Riddler and Two-Face are setting off bombs in the middle of the ocean, while playing their own twisted version of Battleship. The action has a carefree feeling to it that I really like. When it comes to the look and feel of the movie, I'm not a big fan. I get what they were doing. They were going for a more kid-friendly version of Batman, after parents complained that Batman Returns was too dark. But all the bright colors and stuff just don't really work for me. And then you have the costume designs. Yeah, they look really dumb. They look very much like something you would find at a Halloween store. Don't even get me started on the Batmobile, which just looks like a giant toy. Don't even get me started on some of the CGI. You get some truly horrendous shots of CGI buildings, as well as Batman jumping off of a building, and it just looks like a video game. The soundtrack for this movie is not bad. It's no Danny Elfman or Hans Zimmer, but the main Batman theme is pretty good. It has its own charm. Ultimately, this movie is very conflicting for me. There's stuff that I think is done wonderfully well, and there's other stuff that is pretty bad. Ultimately, where I think this movie fails the most is just as a sequel to the Tim Burton Batman movies. The goofy dialogue and tone doesn't match at all with what's come before. Yet, at the same time, it's Batman killing the Joker in the Tim Burton movie that makes Robin's arc in this movie more effective. It's rather conflicting, because in a lot of ways I think this movie works much better as its own thing. But that one plot beat from the earlier movies really does add a lot to this one. In the end, do I think that Batman Forever is a good movie? I don't think I could go that far, but I definitely think that it's an entertaining movie. It's energetic, it's well-paced, and the stuff it does well, it does really well. So ultimately, I don't think this movie should be put on the same level as Batman and Robin. It's no Dark Knight, but it's still an enjoyable watch, and I'm going to give Batman Forever a 6 out of 10.